Today we're going to be replacing the shock absorbers on this 2002 ACR30 Tarago, same as an Estima or Previa if you're from overseas, Japan or New Zealand. You're going to have to take off this cap right here for the top shock mount. Comes off, and it's got like a rubber boot that goes over the top of that. You have to pull that off, and then you can see the top of the shock. What we're looking at here is pretty much the top of this one right here, the new one. Then you'll take your 6mm Allen key and a 17mm wrench socket if you've got an open end socket, and you're going to want to loosen that bolt. Once it loosens, it's probably better to go to an open end wrench. You can get in there better. And you're going to loosen that all the way up until it comes off. You can use the Allen to kind of fight back on what you're doing. If it gets loose enough to where you think you can do it by your hand, do it by your hand. But it does have, on these stock Toyota shock absorbers, it's got like a layer of Loctite at the very top of the thread, so you might have to end up going back to your wrench. $253,000 kilometers, still on the standard Toyota shocks. They didn't bounce too much, but they had oil leaks, and when they have oil leaks, it's time to replace them. They're not like a rebuildable system, like you can replace the seal. It's just not worth it. You just replace them with good shocks. We're going to go with KYB XLG. That's the brand we're using. KYB makes a lot of the shock absorbers for Toyota, and Toyota owns a lot of that company too in Japan. They're made in Japan.
Where is the oil leak that you will observe in the
oil leak is coming from the shaft, in between the shock body and the shaft. It's leaking out the seal. Once that nut's off, you can dispose of it. They give you new nuts in the new shock absorbers. Now there's a rubber grommet. You're going to have to remove all of that. That's going to come off, and then might push down on that. There it goes. It's in there pretty tight. There we go. And then that comes off. And this side actually looked a little bit better than the other side. Still looks pretty good. You're looking for cracking, or if there's any dry rot, you're gonna have to replace these. These feel pretty good to me. So you're gonna save all this because this is gonna go on your new shock absorber. Now we're heading underneath. You're gonna need a 19mm wrench. You're gonna need something with some leverage on it, so maybe even a socket with a pry bar, because the bottom ones are torqued pretty hard. My shoulder hurts, I don't know why.
from last week.
Yeah.
Because you pull.
Can you get me the 19mm short one? You can use the ratcheting to ratchet off. You got your nut off, and then you got your washer to come off, and then you're gonna pry the shock off. And then that whole shock's gonna come down. And now you're going to pull off the cover because you're going to reuse that on your new shock. I'm going to clean that up with some soap and water, some warm soap and water, then I'm going to rag it off. This is your old shock. You can see the oil leaks all around it. So it's leaking from in there and it's just coming down. Not too bad, but I did notice, if you look here, it's original Toyota shock from 2002. Pretty good innings.
How many years?
17 years. My daughter's younger than that. I'm gonna go clean this up. I think that if you had a kid and that kid's 17 years old, they're a senior in high school already. That's how old that thing is.
He clean only outside, doesn't clean inside.
These, you're also going to remove the little plastic caps that are on top here. You're not going to need those. Come out through the frame. You take your 6mm, put it in the top, and then start tightening up the nut. You can use that. That's harder than I thought. Feels like it goes on forever. Once it starts to get tight, get your bigger wrench. Where? I don't know whether that's going to work or not. Done. And then put your rubber boot back on top. And then put your cap back in there too. And then you're going to go down and torque up the bottom nut. It'll be all gone. As tight as that's going to get. And you're all done. Clean up your tools. And dispose of your old shock absorbers quickly. Remember to subscribe, comment down below,